Okay, welcome back to my Blender journey here, and this is day 2 of my little sculpture challenge. So I just opened up Blender, gonna delete everything, add a sphere, and we are going to, I keep doing that, we are going to probably sculpt a woman today. So to start off, I'm going to hit 5, go into sculpt mode, I'm going to turn on symmetry, and I'm going to press G to go to grab mode. S scales my brush size. I'm just going to start clicking and dragging and start sculpting this head. Now, like I said in my last video, I do use industry standard key mapping instead of Blender key mapping. So my my shortcuts are different than everybody else's shortcuts that do. Everybody that does videos on YouTube seems like they all use the industry standard, which makes sense. Or sorry, they all use the Blender standard key mapping. But I started with Maya years ago, and it has stuck. So the reference I'm using, I'll throw it on the screen real quick, is this. I don't know if it's going to actually end up looking like her, but it's at least it's just like a guide that I can go on for a female face. So I'm going to hit mask and S to scale my brush. Let's pull out a neck here. Click, Control I to invert. Scale it up, go to grab, I'm going to pull that down. I know, looks familiar. Control A to get out of that mask. Let's just select everything. With when you're sculpting guys, it feels like you have a little bit more leeway because guys are ugly. So might be more of a challenge for a woman. So I'm going to shift R. Let's get into about 0.3, 0.28, whatever, and then Control R. Let's get a little more geometry. Go into my clay strips. On the reference, her neck, she has a little bit more of a neck out here. It's a smooth neck. Let's see from the side. It's funny, I'm used to going from that side, and the reference is a different side, so I'll have to, people have their preferences. I like going for this side typically, but I'll go from this side and see what happens. Sometimes what I'll do, if I'm trying to copy something, I'll use this draw sharp brush to kind of put in like little landmarks. Even though the landmarks will eventually they'll go away, it kind of just helps me get a general idea of where things should be. So the nose is going to be in this section right here. The eye is going to be in this section here. She's kind of got her cheeks are a little bit more full, so her cheekbones are like all the way up here. So sexy. I'll go to the front view as well, so I can kind of get a good feel for how fat her head is. Oh, I forgot. I'm like, everything's looking kind of weird. So let's go to the view and change it to 100 millimeters. That'll give me a better idea of how things are actually looking. 50 millimeters just distorts it a little bit. Okay, so let's mask this. Sorry, I try to do this as quickly as I can, but I'm not that great at this. So Control I to invert. G, let's pull these ears out. She's got pretty flat ears actually in the reference. If you check this out, see how flat those ears are? Just stick way down to the head. So we will do it accordingly. They are a little tall like this. It's probably good for now. Control A. Let's just remesh it real quick to add that geometry to the ears. Her lips. Let's try and use the draw sharp brush. Let's go into the front mode. And I'm just looking over on my other monitor, trying to get a good idea of where her lips are. Probably a good idea. Her nose is a little bit more rounded. She's kind of got these eyebrows that will, like I said, higher cheekbones than a dude. I don't know if they're actually higher, but they look higher. So we will grab the grab brush, go into her mouth. Now I tried to stay, my last video I had a problem with the mouth because they weren't, it wasn't separating on like a seam. It was going between several different vertices. So I wanted to try and do better this time and try and separate the mouth on, on an edge. So I think we got that's pretty good. So let's check the profile. Oh, the chin's got to come way out. She's already starting to look like a girl, which is good. Let's get the start eating this away here. So what is her nose doing? So she does have, it is a little more pronounced. It's not like a perfectly smooth nose. There is some, definitely has some shape to it. Like I said in the last one, I'm trying to get as much as I can out of the geometry level that I'm at, because once you go higher, it gets a little bit more difficult to keep track of all the vertices. But you can only do so much with what you have, so let's dig out her eyeballs a little bit more. She definitely doesn't have really deep eye sockets though, so I don't think we're going to have to dig those out too much. Now, fortunately, this reference has like a 3/4 view, which is nice, because then I can go through and I can basically try and match what the 3/4 view looks like. Okay, so let's look at the profile. I'll pull this over so you can see. So it looks like her jaw needs to come down a little bit, maybe her chin up. Maybe her upper lip needs to be curved a little bit. Her actually mouth needs to be angled down a little bit more. She's smiling too much. That was kind of as a result from the line that I was following, because that line went up, but her mouth goes down quite a bit actually. It's more of a sexy pout. Ooh. And once I get a little bit more geometry in here, I can see, because what's happening is that mouth is stretching those geometries, that geometry that it has. But yeah, one thing I noticed this myself was that I would not make the lips big enough typically. Until I started watching some other people sculpting some sculpting videos, and I was like, oh man, that's a huge problem that I had. I just did not do the lips as big as they should be. They were like paper thin. Okay, yeah, there's not enough geometry here, so oops. I'm gonna have to just do a general ear here. Take it down, thin it out a little bit, smooth it out, thin it out. So I'm just using the draw brush again, holding control to eat away at the shape. G. Again, industry standard. D for draw. Let's get that ear out. Yeah, we're getting to a point though that I think I need to get a little bit more geometry in here. Okay, so I'm going to let's smooth this out before I get more geometry. Let's look at her from the top, make sure her head is bueno. It's pretty good. I think I have a tendency to making things too round on top. Make sure she has a nice thin, sexy neck. We can use the polish brush to polish this neck stump. Make it a little bit cleaner than last sculpt. Okay. Alright, she's not looking too bad. Okay, so I'm going to hit Shift R. Let's go even smaller. Thinking maybe 0.099. I hit Control R, goes down. So let's see how many polygons I have. Where is it? It's under statistics. There it is. 142,000 faces. That's pretty good still. So I'll probably be remeshing another one more time, probably, and going down. So let's see what she looks like from the front. Still think she's a little bit too fat. But she does have a fuller face, so, and her neck's pretty good. Her mouth, I think her mouth actually needs to be a little bit bigger. It's a little bit fuller than she's got those model lips. She definitely should be, we'll get into this area to like kind of blow things up a little bit. Okay, let's work on her nose now that we have a little bit more geometry. Shift D, let's go to the draw sharp. Let's start defining her nose a little bit. Let's get in there. Her nose is kind of, I don't know how to describe it. I think they call it like a pug nose. not really a pug nose. Maybe a button nose. Maybe that's how they describe it. It's like a little, not a pug nose. Okay. See, on her nose, the middle part and the nostrils are almost the same. It's very smooth though, so I gotta smooth this out. So Shift D, oh that's not too much. She doesn't have any sort of bump. It's just a very smooth nose. What a freak. She does have very faint lines, but they're not prominent at all because she's a professional, and professionals don't smile. Okay, let's give it a little bit of a, with the draw sharp, I'm doing the inverse to give it a little bit of a, oh man, that was too strong. A little bit of an edge. Let's go back to the mouth now. So because I followed that line earlier, I think I have a better mouth line now than my last video. Going to use the same draw sharp, dig into this. What's it called? Can't remember the name of this part above your above your lips, but it's something. I'll have to look it up. Yeah. Seems like always a problem. I'm going to have to figure out a better way for these mouths, for these lips, because it keeps doing this weird thing, and I don't know how to fix it. Maybe I just don't have enough geometry. Okay. Okay, so she has kind of, now again, it's not going to be exactly like this model. I just wanted to have a picture of a woman that I could impress, that I can reference. Because I'm a dude and I know what dudes look like, but I've never seen a woman, so. Okay, so I'm going to, let's do a little bit more on her ears, so that when we do remesh, it looks a little bit better. Oh, I'm going to go on the other side, because her ears are on the other side, so. Comes down. She's got the nice hole right here. Goes down like that. Kind of a low-res picture, so. There's something going on here. I don't know. Again, it's messing. Her ears are so flat, yo. Maybe she had it pinned back or something, because those are not normal, man. I mean, maybe they are. Maybe that's why she became a model. Because someone's like, yo, your ears are so flat. You should be a model. Just move brush. I mean, I'm using the same few brushes, right, for these sculpts. You know, move, draw sharp, polish, well, what is it called? Scrape. Draw, brush, clay. I'm going to try and just make that a little bit more pronounced and smooth it out. Like a chin beard strap. Okay, I'm going to add a place for her eyeballs next. How long is this video so far? I can't even tell. I don't even know how to check. So just draw a brush. Let's eat away at our eye sockets a little bit. Just so I noticed that in my last video, eye sockets kind of got in the way of my eyeballs. So I don't want to do that. So I'm going to add a UV sphere. Go into edit mode and scale it down. All right, let's see where her eyeballs are. She got big eyeballs. Alt X, my industry standard. Let's mirror this bad boy. Okay, so her eyeballs. I can only infer. They do go a little bit further though. Let me look at the other side. Yeah, let's try that for now. And then I'm gonna do what I do. So we're gonna name these eyeballs. Then we're gonna duplicate that, hit escape so it stays where it's at. Let's name these lids. So I'm gonna turn off my eyeballs. I'm gonna edit my lids. I'm going to 3 to go into the face select, delete those faces. 2 to go into the edge. You know what I think I can do? I wonder if I just fill this right now. If I fill it, since I'm going to remesh it all anyway, trying something different. I'm going to duplicate this on the Z, and then I'm going to go into edit, select everything, rotate, and I'm going to rotate 180 degrees so I don't have to remake this. Let's turn on the eyeballs. Okay, so these lids have got to come up a little bit. Let's go to the lids. Let's come up a little bit. And we're going to try and make this look like this lady. Okay. Those are some big eyeballs, man. Scale them down just a little bit. Okay, 5. Actually, let's actually, if I do 5 and I start adjusting it, yeah, that's fine. So she's got very wide open. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna undo that because I'm gonna apply the mirror for both of these. You don't have to do this. You could just remesh that. I'm gonna actually quad remesh this because I filled that in a weird place. So I'm just gonna do 1,000 and I'm gonna remesh it. And then I'm gonna do the same thing for the bottom because you know it's now added some more geometry on those flat spaces. Otherwise, they'll be flexing weird. So I don't want to flex them weird. So I gotta turn on the X. Yeah. I wonder why that got turned off. I don't know. So her eyeballs, let's show her what she looks like. They're kind of like this almond shape. So I'll try and emulate that. I'm terrible at eyeballs, so we'll see what happens. Kind of go up on the side. Down like this. Okay, let's go to the next one. I'm telling you, that quad remesher, best 35 bucks I ever spent, or 40 bucks or whatever. It just fixes geometry so nicely. And I don't get paid for saying that. I'm just telling you people. Well, I say you people, but I don't think anybody's watching this. So. Oh no! Shoot.
30 minutes.
You see what I did wrong? I didn't add the X on it. So let's do this. Select these, delete them. Let's mirror it, and then let's apply it. And then when I go back into that, I can turn on the X, and so hopefully, okay, that's better. Let's look at my reference. She definitely has smaller lower lids. Like I said, I'm not trying to match her exactly, but as close as I can. So I'm going to bring in these lids a little bit. My grab brush closer to her eyeball. And the top eyelid seems to be, it's the more prominent one, I think, and so I kind of have it overlap the bottom eyelid. Yes, I am, Braj. That's my son. Let's see how she looks. Alright. So I still think her head might be a little bit too big. Like all over. It's a good time to kind of reconfigure her proportions. I'm just measuring with my fingers now. Proportions on a... You couldn't see it, but I was measuring with my fingers the proportions of her head. And she doesn't... I mean, her ponytail's in the way, but I don't think the back of her head is this prominent. Okay, so now we are going to save this. Let's do day 2. Female. I can actually get those cheekbones up there, girl. Let's see what it looks like if I polish it up a little bit. Well, I'm polishing it because I like the polish. I don't think it's necessary all the time. Something funky happening up here. Let's smooth that out. She's got some eyebrows. Let's just sketch them in real quick so we know what they look like. Go up. Ladies have adjusted eyebrows. Okay, so let's try and put all these together. So I'm going to subdivide this. I'm going to subdivide this. I hit G to repeat what I just did. Go back into sculpt mode, 5. Just pull these down a little bit more. After I subdivide it, you know, it loses a little bit of its width, I guess. And then we'll do the same 5, pull these up a little bit. So that when I remesh, they'll be, you know, they'll touch. That's the whole idea. Okay, so I'm going to apply that. Apply that. Okay. Then I'm going to select both of those. Let's save it. Select both of these, like this. Right click, join. Okay, now when I go into sculpt mode, I'm going to go to remesh. Let's eyedropper this. Let's go maybe 0.006 and let's see what happens. Okay, that's pretty good. It kept a lot of its details, so now I'm just going to go through and smooth everything out and try and make everything look kind of like the model. As much as I can, like I said. I mean, it's not... Or like a female, I don't know. Give her some bags under her eyes, like a proper human. Her eyes are definitely, her eyelids are definitely not this pronounced. So hopefully by smoothing it out and using this clay brush and the smooth brush. Oops. What is that? I can define these to be, what is the clay strips? Control-Alt-C. I don't know if that's default. Probably is, I don't know. Let's check on the 3/4. I think there's a little bit more fat up in this area. That helps. Yeah, very smooth. Okay, let's just use the draw sharp to just, oh man, I hate how strong it is sometimes. So I took the draw sharp down a little bit for those eyeballs because they're so I don't know, they're so delicate up there. I want it to have a little bit more delicate brush. So take out the nose. Now it doesn't look symmetrical, so let's shoot. We're gonna have to do this again. Some tries. Okay, now it's more symmetrical. Sometimes I don't know why it just gets thrown off. Okay, let's get some pretty lips going on here. Let's D. I definitely like the clay strip a lot better than just the regular draw brush. I don't know why. The regular draw brush just doesn't. I don't know. It's just like a blob sometimes. I'm hoping that as I go along in these videos that I don't know, that I start learning different techniques, how to do stuff. Was it Shift B? That's it. I'm going to inflate this lip a little bit. She's got pretty big lips. They're pretty pronounced, actually. I mean, let's see. If I go to this brush, take the strength down a little bit, and do the how's that looking? Looking over at my things. Well, she looks like a female regardless, so whatever. This video's getting very long. So thank you, nobody, for watching. Okay, let's just hit the let's hit the ears a little bit, smooth all this junk out behind here. Shift D. I really like defining stuff with the draw. Sorry, I mapped it to Shift D. I don't know what the default is. Control Alt S is this what do they call it? Scrape. I don't know what the default is. That might be the default. I can't remember. I mapped this. I mapped things like several months ago. And as I've been learning how to sculpt, I've just, been learning what they are. So, but that's what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to do something that is comfortable for you. And those are the keys that were comfortable for me. So I think I'm going to stop there. Well, let's see. Let's save it. I don't know how long this video is, but it seems like it's getting a long time. Going a long time. Let's add a multi-resolution modifier and let's subdivide it. Let's see how many vertices and faces it makes. 1.4 million. I guess that's not too bad. So this is our. Let's check out our Chica. Oh yeah, so she's got too big of a jaw. So that jaw's got to come in. This has got to come. Maybe the head's got to be bigger still. That nose, she's got a different shape. I'm just going to call this good. It's my female head figure. It's not perfect, but it's... So you can, after you multi-resolution modifier it, you can go in and... I like using the polish tool to polish everything up. I'm sure there's tons of wrong with this character, but again, this is just me practicing, trying to get better at sculpting. It definitely does help to have some sort of reference. My last video I didn't really use any reference, just for a small part of it, and it kind of, I don't know, kind of shows. Okay, well, thanks for indulging me again. And I hope you come back for more. Thanks.